What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new test hand video. Today we've got Danger Orcust. I realized the last test hand video I did was for Mermail, and that was like our second last upload that we did. But here we are in 2019, so hope everybody had a good new year and all that stuff. But I realized also that we've never done a test hand video for Orcust. We only done deck profiles with it and a couple duels, maybe one or two. But I wanted to go ahead and do a test hand video, just sort of run through first turn plays a couple times. And one of the main video ideas I had going forward, I've seen some other people do them, not really recently, but sort of like in-depth deck guides for most of the decks that I play. Probably going to be starting with Photon Galaxy. Might do an Invoked Mech Knight or just Invoked in general. We'll see, and then maybe move into Orcust. And things of that nature, just sort of any other decks that I pick up along the way, sort of have an in-depth guide. You know, the test hand, sort of each deck has its own sort of cycle of videos to help learn, to help create plays and combos and things like that, for anybody else who might be interested in picking up said deck. So, also real quick, our fantastic sponsor from Imperium Duelist, again, gotta shout them out. Beautiful playmat here. This is the tour guide playmat printed on the King's Robe material, so incredibly soft. It's got this like two-tone texture to it. Tour guide here on this side, and Beat Cop from the Underworld on the other side. Some fantastic artwork, but done by Tombox himself from MST TV, and also these are all sleeves from Imperium Duelist as well. And if you want to find out for more information on that, use that discount code in the description. You can save 10%, all those wonderful things. But without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started with our first test hand. Alright, so I've shuffled up hopefully well enough for our first hand. And we're going to do all going first hands, by the way. And we'll just basically try to run through as many basic plays as we can with the deck. Because I do like this deck. It does have quite a different play style than most of the different decks that I do play. Its ability to grind is actually pretty solid. If you've, I'll reference that match again. It's a Sky Striker vs. Danger Orcust match on my channel. And if I do remember, I will have that annotated at the end of the video. So that's the last 20 seconds where a bunch of videos will pop up that I will suggest for you guys to check out afterwards. So feel free to stick around for that. So we opened up, really well. We opened up the one of Armageddon Knight and Foolish Burial, which is just a fantastic way to start. Dark Grepher and Simple Skeleton all looking really, really good here. So there's a couple things we can do. We could obviously start with Armageddon Knight. He could send the Brass Bombard, and that could revive the Simple Skeleton from our, or summon the Simple Skeleton from our hand to our field. Then we can link into a Link 2 from there, mainly Galatea. And then from there, there's not a whole lot else we can do unless we use our Foolish Burial on the Harp Horror. See, this is the nice thing though with Armageddon Knight going down to 1. I thought it would really hurt the deck a lot, but to be totally honest, it really doesn't hurt the deck a whole lot because Dark Grepher in most cases is like just as good, in some cases if not better than Armageddon Knight. So that's why I do really like him. But I think for the play I'm going to do right now is start with Foolish Burial, and I think most of you probably know who we are going to be sending. And it's going to be the one of 2 copies of Destiny Hero Malicious. That's how we'll start with that. And then I'm going to normal summon the Dark Grepher, and I'm going to pitch Simple Skeleton to send another Dark Monster from the deck to the grave, and that is going to be Harp Horror. And then from there, I will use Harp Horror immediately to summon out the Brass Bombard. It's like that, they're in that center column. And the reason I want to do this is because we do have another Simple Skeleton in hand, and basically if we open up any other Orcust with this hand that we had, the same sort of play can still follow suit. So we'll do that. We'll go into Galatea, our Link 2, who we can use that its effect to return any banished machine monster and set an Orcust spell or trap. And of course, we do need our field spell. If we do not open it, oh, there's a Summon Sorceress in my main deck. Don't know how that got in there. It's because it wasn't in the right sleeves. That's probably why. So we'll grab the Orchestrated Babel. Always want to grab this if you do not have your it in your opening hand already. It's pretty self-explanatory for the most part. Then from here, I will use the Brass Bombard to summon out the Simple Skeleton or any other Orcust card we would have had in our hand. And here we're going to link into that Summon Sorceress. I need to put this in some matching sleeves because it's these full size like extra deck Pokemon sleeves that I'm using, double sleeve for the extra deck. They don't fit too well, and the reason I've been doing double sleeve like this for extra deck, so it's almost impossible for them to get left in the main deck like I did. So there's that. Now we're going to use Symbol Skeleton after we go into Summon Sorceress to bring back Galatea, and then we use this effect to summon out a machine from deck. And we'll go ahead and grab the Wonder Wand. Not Wonder Wand, the World Wand. I don't know why I call it Wonder Wand. And now, depending on what we're playing against, we have the option to do our basic setup, which is, and still with one card in hand at this point, which is pretty nice. We still have the option to go for our Bomber Dragon and Longirsu play, but if we're playing against like a back row heavy deck, in most cases we'd probably want maybe like a Trisbania or something along the lines of that. But the one thing about Trisbania you have to be careful with is it does banish, I believe, does it banish, yeah, so Trisbania banishes like all spells and traps in the field, so it would banish the field spell, and at that point there's no real way to get it back. But against certain decks, I feel like once you pull off that a really big Trisbania play, it's not going to matter too much. But in order to do a Trisbania play, we'd probably just use the Malicious here and link, or just summon out another Malicious, link into Trisbania, or link into Longirsu first, then into Trisbania so we don't trigger it accidentally. But I think for the sake of just doing the standard setup, what I'll do is just link into Longirsu with the World Wand and the Galatea, and I'll summon out Longirsu right here, and then we'll use the World Wand lastly to summon out Symbol Skeleton, and then we'll link these two away for a topological Bomber Dragon. And with this field, we have a pretty good setup. We have the option to send any linked card on the field to the grave using Longirsu's effect, and it does become a quick effect because we do have 2 banished Dark Machines, which is really nice. And then we also have Topological Bomber Dragon, which we can trigger at any given moment because we have a copy of Symbol Skeleton in grave, which is also really fantastic because during their turn, so they try to summon something onto the side of the field or try to set up some sort of board, we can go Symbol Skeleton, summon the Galatea, and then if we have the opportunity, well, this would be banished as well, so we'd have 3 banished machines. So we can chain the effect of Galatea to Topological Bomber Dragon to put something back to grab a orchestrated spell or trap card to set up for our next turn, whether that would be the draw spell, return, the trap card core, mainly those 2 targets at this point in time, but that's basically the basic setup we were able to just pull off right there with kind of a weird hand to start. We didn't even need Armageddon Knight there, so we really didn't need a whole lot of extenders. I don't even think we needed the Malicious. If we did, I'm forgetting things, but I'm not too sure. It doesn't really matter. And then just with cards like Symbol Skeleton and Grave, and they're just so nice because you have the opportunity to recurve such great monsters like Longirsu and Galatea. Really, really great, easy, simple plays to be made that are pretty effective and long-lasting. So that's one of the main reasons why I really like this deck. And I'm going to go ahead and pile shuffle real quick, and we'll get back to another test hand. Alright, pile shuffling complete. Let's go ahead and draw into another 5-card opening hand. Another copy of Symbol Skeleton, Allure of Darkness, Foolish Burial again, Danger Jackalope, and a copy of Dark Grepher. So I would normally start with Jackalope like immediately just to increase the chance of getting on the field plus a draw. But I see no reason in not starting with Allure of Darkness, drawing into 2 more, drawing into a Grepher and another core. I think that's an easy choice for me. I'll go ahead and just banish the Dark Grepher. And then I'm going to use Danger Jackalope to start. So reveal the Jackalope. I'm just going to go ahead and randomly shuffle these here. And then I'm just going to randomly roll a dice to pick which one is which. So it doesn't look like I'm like trying to cheat and hit the Jackalope out of my hand. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll a d6. That's this one. and we hit Foolish Burial out of our hand. That's not too big of a deal, because we have Greffer in hand, so the Foolish I wasn't really too afraid of losing. So we'll summon the Jackalope, we'll put him there in defense, and then we'll get to draw a card. And we draw Malicious. That is actually fantastic. We could special summon the Greffer, but I'm not going to do that. We'll just use our normal summon on Greffer, pitch the Malicious, and send another Dark Monster from deck to grave. And for me, that's going to be Harp Horror. Harp Horror effect activate, and we'll summon Brass Bombard, because we still have that Symbol Skeleton in hand. And the Danger Jackalope at this point is basically going to act as an extra sort of link fodder piece later on. So we'll go ahead and link 2. And same thing with the Malicious. We might not even need the Malicious, depending on how the rest of this hand plays out. So we'll go into Galatea. Galatea effect, return the Harp Horror to the deck. We'll go grab that pesky field spell. I am playing it as a 1-of though right now, and I've considered maybe bumping it to 2 because just seeing it in opening hand is just almost all the time just so important. And I think I might cut an Einsatz down, so it would actually get set, then we flip it face up. But I was actually thinking about playing a second copy of it, mainly because like it just for me, I don't know, it just does a lot. It just does a lot of things. Having this field spell at the ready is just really nice. So with that being said, we have Brass Bombard here, but the only issue is that I'm seeing currently is with the hand we have now, making Summon Sorceress is going to be pretty difficult, I'd say, because we're gonna get Symbol Skeleton on field. Actually, no, we're fine. No, we're fine. We'll use Brass Bombard, summon Symbol, and then we'll link these two for Summon Sorceress. I don't know why. For a second, I thought I'd be one card short, but it looks like we're going to be A-okay. So Summon Sorceress, then we'll use the Symbol Skeleton to revive that Galatea. Got to make some room here, my bad. And then we'll use that to summon another copy of World Wand. So these plays after... and I should say, this is sort of what these last 2 turns have looked like, very optimal Orcust Danger turns. Very, very optimal turns. Just being able to go through your combos and get to your main stronghold setup. That isn't too, like, build-a-boardy. It's just 2 monsters. You're playing around your field spell and your graveyard effects to sort of get you where you need to be. But here, we'll go ahead and link with these 2 into a copy of Longirsu, who is right here, and then we'll link into the Bomber Dragon with those. And with having this field spell, or this trap card set too, which is really, really nice, because we can protect at the start of our turn our Orchestrated Babble if we sense sort of any back row destruction. We can prevent it from being targeted. We can also prevent any Orcust card release card would be destroyed by battle or card effect. We can send this card to the graveyard instead. So if this card would be destroyed, we can just destroy this card instead, or we can prevent from targeting as well from cards like Widow Anchor or anything like that. It's a very, very versatile card. And notice we didn't even use Malicious, and we also didn't use our World Wand. And the only issue at this point is, I would say we need a Orcust card in grave, though. That's the thing. So I think what I would do before we end our turn is use the World Wand, summon Symbol Skeleton to a zone that Bomber Dragon points to. And this is something you might run into, because you might find at the end of your turn you might have the setup, right? You might have extra cards engraved to work with, but none of them might be Orcust cards. But you need Orcust cards engraved to A, take advantage of the field spell, take advantage of your Bomber Dragon to be able to have something to summon out, and then you also have the ability to take advantage of the possible Galatea Surge. So for specific reasons, obviously we don't want to get this back in the grave. We want this back in the grave. So Bomber Dragon will activate. This will just get destroyed. He'll stay because he can't be destroyed by card effects since he is linked, which means something is pointing to him. Or if it points to something, that is the definition of link. It's not co-linked. Co-linked and linked are 2 different things. So now we'll get the Symbol Skeleton back in our graveyard just like that. And now we have pretty much the same setup. This time we have an Orchestrated Core set, which gives us a little bit of an advantage going into the next turn. And we do have 2 banished Dark Machines to be able to take care of when Longirsu attempts to activate its effect. So that's very good for that test hand there. And we'll go ahead and wrap everything up here, and we'll go ahead and get into another test hand. Everything is all shuffled. I did a quick pile shuffle because pile shuffles seem to be treating me pretty good today, so I'll go ahead and stick with that. And we'll go ahead and draw into another going first test hand here. We'll split the deck. Dart Grepher again, Call by the Grave, Allure of Darkness, and Reinforcing the Army. Okay, so Dart Grepher really likes us today. So we'll go ahead and start the turn with Reinforcing the Army, because we'll deck thin a little bit. And I'm not going to grab another copy of Dart Grepher. I'm going to grab the one of Armageddon Knight, because he might suit us a little better, depending on what we draw off of the what we draw off the Allure of Darkness. But basically, a lot of times here we've had to use a little bit more resource at the end of the day to make those last two plays. I guess not entirely, but basically opening Armageddon Knight and Harp Horror is a 2-card combo to basically get to what we did in that last hand. It's just real simple. It's pretty much follows the same as all the other plays we did. Allure of Darkness. Okay, so I'm going to banish the Dart Grepher, and we just picked up some really awesome cards. What a goddamn coincidence! We could just go the route of the normal play, which would be just normal the Armageddon Knight, send Brassman Bar, and start the basic 2-card combo, or we could do like Grepher, Malicious, send this, send another thing. But I think I want to just keep it simple. We'll leave all these extra cards in our hand, the Call by, the Grepher, the Mally, all those things. And to be honest, we could just get this on board by discarding this if we needed extra link fodder, by way of getting this on the field itself and then having the graveyard presence of Malicious as well. So we'll summon Armageddon Knight, we'll use his effect, and if they do have something for it, we do have a Call by in our opening hand, which is pretty nice. Little safety net there. And I'm looking for the level 1 guy who will send and then immediately banish for the Harp Horror. And we'll go ahead and put that over there. We'll link into link 2, who is going to be, you guessed it, Galatea. Good old link 2. And as far as the link climbing is concerned, I always, for the Bomber Dragon Longirsu, we'll go ahead and use the Harp Horror here as well. And we're going to summon out Symbol Skeleton. But for the link climbing and how you're going to build your field, always, if you can, especially in most cases if you're going first, you have the option to choose either the left extra monster zone or the right extra monster zone. Here, always, and if you do have the choice, always build from the right side, so have your Bomber Dragon in that right zone, and then your Longirsu here, so Longirsu can cover the other extra monster zone with his top left diagonal arrow that he will have. So that's very important. One thing to remember when you're just linking away, to sort of actually keep in mind where you're placing certain things. So Summon Sorceress hits the field. You could use this effect on summon if you wanted to, but it's not really necessary. We'll summon Galatea. We'll use this effect. I'm trying to do this basically just as the main 2-card combo that I had literally just advertised for a couple moments ago, so I'll try to pull it out as quickly as possible. And so from here, we'll go ahead and just link into link 3, which will be Longirsu. Then we'll use this. We'll summon out a Symbol Skeleton, and then we'll link these into a Bomber Dragon, just like that. Still 3 cards left in hand. I forgot to grab the field spell. That's my bad. I completely forgot that earlier. So we should have a field spell on the field like that. So that should be the opening play, and one of these would get recycled. Doesn't really matter too much. I'll just recycle the Harp Horror, because that should be back in the deck, and then we still have 3 cards left in hand for next turn, and theoretically we're drawing an Orchestrated Return, which isn't too bad, because this field usually tends to have pretty decent sticking power depending on what you're playing against. Not too bad at all, and we can go ahead and if we do use the Symbol Skeleton and Grave during their turn to bring back Galatea, we of course can chain the Galatea to grab a Orchestrated Spell or Trap. We want to grab Iron Sats or Core or another return. We drew into return there, so we probably wouldn't want to search one, but who knows. That is it for that play. So I think you guys are pretty much getting the gist at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and shuffle up, and we're going to do one more test hand. Alright, so I've pile shuffled one last time here. Let's go ahead and see what we can draw here. We haven't had a brick hand this entire time, and well, I see we have 2 Harp Horror here, so maybe that will change. But we opened a Jackalope and an Alert of Darkness. Quite a few decent starter cards in this deck, if I do say so myself. So I'll lure first. 1, 2. We draw into 2 spells. That's fine. We'll go ahead and banish a Harpoor. And I'm going to go ahead and use Jackalope here, actually. I'm just going to use Jackalope, and hopefully we get what we need, essentially. We just got to hope we get what we need. We might have to... Whoops, drop a card. Alright, so I'm going to roll a 6-sided die again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 is a reroll. We rolled a 3, so that is this card. And it is Harpoor. Alright, we got pretty lucky there. Not too bad, not too bad. I don't know if that's going to get us out of the woods completely. We'll draw a card. We draw into Dark Grepher. That's pretty good. We managed to keep the Foolish Burial in our hand, which is really nice. We still keep the Call-by and everything like that. I'm amazed we kept the Foolish and the Call-by we draw into. Lucky dice. We have some lucky dice. So I think could Foolish Burial, pretty much any combo piece that we need, whether it be Malicious or an Orcust card. We could normal summon Grepher just as link material, keep in mind, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to use Harpoor and summon out Symbol Skeleton, just like that. And I'm going to go ahead and not waste any more time and link right into Galatea. Basically a common theme. But there are other cards in the extra deck, I can assure you. There are other cards to summon. More situational cards. Like ending Wee Witch sometimes with the Galatea, it might be all you are able to do. I just could not speak there for a second. But you do get the attack boost and you do get the recycle things back. You know, like ending on fields with Decode Talker and maybe Longirsu, things like that aren't always a bad alternative. Just keep that in mind. This, though, we're opening pretty good. It means the deck is basically consistent at trying to do what it does best, and this is its basic, you know, sort of first turn type of lockdown position that it likes to take. So we'll use Galatea here, I won't forget this time, and then we'll go ahead and grab our field spell. Again, if you already opened the field spell, do not try to, don't, like, not use its effect. You could easily go and grab any other cards, which would be Orchestrated Return, Orchestrated Einsatz, or the Trap card. So you have plenty of options if you didn't already open them. I believe I almost put back that card that we opened, which is Core. My bad. So we'll grab the field spell. We'll play it. We'll get set, but then we can flip it back up to use. Now I'm going to use Foolish Burial here to send a card to the grave. And I want to go for the World Wand. I want to put the World Wand in grave because we can't use Symbol Skeleton right now because we have nothing else in our grave. So we have to use an early World Wand to bring back Harpoor, link into Summon Sorceress again. And one thing I guess is nice sort of about pulling off the same ending field these past few turns is we've done it in pretty much different ways to start every time, which is nice. Now we'll Symbol Skeleton, bring out Harpoor, and oh no, not Harpoor, but we're gonna bring out Galatea, use that effect, and we're gonna go ahead and summon out another copy of. We can't use World Wand again, which is not too big of a deal, but we'll just summon out another copy of. I guess we'll just do another Symbol Skeleton since we don't have one engraved currently. And we haven't normal summoned yet, so we'll normal summon now. We'll normal summon Grepher. We'll link into Longirsu, just like that. And then last but not least, the Topological Bomber Dragon to round everything off. There it is. So 4 test hands, 4 really optimal ending fields, setting Called By and a Orchestrated Core, which I'm pretty sure I almost accidentally put this back in the deck. If I grabbed it on accident, it shouldn't be set, but you get the point. We have 2 Banished Dark Machines. We have a Symbol Skeleton engraved to use. We have a Harpoor engraved to use during their turn. So we have technically 2 disruptions here with Bomber Dragon, summoning out using the Harpoor effect to summon something here, using the Symbol Skeleton to summon out the Galatea again, of course to recycle something to grab a spell trap for next turn. which in most cases, if I already had core set, and I just wanted to pick up more resources, I would just use this to recycle something and grab return to send this to the graveyard next turn, because we could just easily bring it back with something like a simple skeleton or anything like that, depending on what we draw and all those things, of course. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that test hand video. We haven't done one of these ever, so I figured we'd do one, and it was a pretty promising test hand. It's not always going to be all, you know, rainbows and sunshine when it comes to this deck. You will have some pretty abysmal hands sometimes, which you will not be able to end on, you know, Bomber Dragon and Longirsu. Sometimes you'll end on way worse fields like this. Sometimes you can still end on like Wee Witch and Longirsu, which isn't half bad, because you get the attack boost, you get the resource recur, you still can take advantage of the Longirsu effect. Of course, you can go for cards like Trisbania. Underclock Taker is a decent Link 2 you can use to going second. That is a dark, and of course everything in here is dark, because some of the effects that you use allow you to only be able to summon dark monsters the turn that you use them, and that's why we're also playing Gozen Match, which we never saw Gozen Match, but I guess the best field that we could have possibly ended on, that we didn't, because we just didn't draw the card simply, would just be like Bomber Dragon, Longirsu, and then like having a set Gozen Match is with a field spell is pretty much your best turn one field. I would say that's probably the ceiling of this deck, is set Gozen Match, these field spell, maybe an orchestrated core set as well, if you opened well, and maybe some extra, you know, fodder engraved. But that's a pretty solid field. Again, you could make Trisbania if you wanted to, depending on the matchup, because you have to be careful with this card, because it will get rid of your spells and traps too. So I guess Trisbania is just a better card, obviously going second. So if you want to have to play going second against any back or heavy deck, you can just sort of combo without playing your field spell, drop the Trisbania on them, just summon out a Longirsu here, or anything from grave using your effects, and just blow up their back row, and they have to have a response for that right then and there, or they're going to lose all their back row. So keep that in mind. But yeah, that's been it for this test hand video. Hope you guys enjoyed. First like real video of 2019. First actual video of 2019, because the little year review video I uploaded last night was still 2018. So first video of the year. Smash like, smash subscribe. Check out Imperium Duelist. Let's get the year started great. Hope you guys had a good New Year's, all that stuff. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. As always, Winter Kill signing out. We'll see you in the next one.